Next up, Larry Urish.
I have a mini story to start, if I may. The fire thing reminded me of something I got to share. Take 2 seconds. Okay. I'll save that mini story for next time. Well, houses around us were going up in flames in Burbank, California. I went down to a cop. I lived in one of the houses, and I said, "You guys got any marshmallows?" I really did. One cop wanted to kill me, and the other one just cracked up. Okay. Higher. Okay. Okay. Anyway, let me start off. Can you hear me okay now? I was a little too far away.
Eat the mic.
Eat the mic.
Lick
okay.
the mic.
Lick the mic. I've got arrested for that once. Well, that was his name, so whatever. Sorry. Audience participation. Have any of you, show of hands, had a root canal? Okay, that's most of you. Imagine going through a root canal without any lidocaine or novocaine. A lot of fun, right? Hypothetical. Imagine after going through a lidocaine-free root canal, the dentist says, "Yeah, I'm sorry, we just did the wrong tooth. And we're going to charge you anyway." That's how pissed off I was when I got an error message on my computer. You all know what an error message is. It comes up, these digital sideways things that just, they drive me up the wall. I am a technophobe. And because of my technophobia, I have the IQ of spinach when it comes to anything computer related. So this error message, to me, looked like Russian acrylic held up to a mirror. And I didn't know if symbols, numbers, whatever. A couple words really stood out. One was fatal error, and the other was insufficient. So I felt insufficient over my fatal error. That's all I discerned. What happened was, I'm a freelance writer, and I had to print out a story I was about to send to the editor, and I like to proofread something on hard copy. So it was really important that I get this printout made. My Hewlett-Packard printer took a dive. I got the error message, this Russian acrylic thing. Because of my technophobia, perceptually, it looked as if the error message said in my brain, "Your Hewlett-Packard printer thinks you're a moron. And this error message agrees with your Hewlett-Packard printer." At this stage, knowing what little I know about computers, I have a 4-step troubleshooting process. Works every time. Step 1, this was a printer, unplug the printer. Well, step 1, shut off the printer. Step 2, unplug the printer. Step 3, shut off the laptop. Step 4, unplug the television, laptop. I tried unplugging my television, that doesn't work either. Step 5 was unique for this situation because it was my printer. Step 5 is hunt down the CEO of Hewlett-Packard so I can kick him in the nuts, okay? And by the way, I've got very wide feet, so in a perfect world, I'd get them both. But some laughs, some groans. I didn't do that. Instead, I called my friend Ron, a very bright mechanical engineer, great guy. He dropped everything. I told him what was going on. He said, "I'll be right over." He came over, checked out my computer and the printer, and did all sorts of stuff. I had no idea what he was doing. And he said, "Let me go out to my car. I've got something. You're going to get a kick out of this." He comes back with a printer that happens to be the exact same make and model of my printer. Sets it down. What are the odds? He hooks up his printer, works fine. Hooks up mine, different error message. Hooks up his, works fine. He says, I'm pretty sure it's your printer, it's not your laptop. My girlfriend, it's her birthday. I'm going to take her out to lunch. I'll be back in a couple hours, but just sit tight. We'll figure this out. Don't worry about it. And I walked him out to the car. I thanked him. He took off. And then I decided to go for a walk around the block because I needed to calm down. It felt like I just had a root canal on the wrong tooth without any lidocaine, and I was going to pay for it. I was pissed off. So I thought, it was a beautiful day, not a cloud in the sky, 75 degrees, like what we've had here recently. And I began walking, and my mind sometimes comes up with these dialogues that happened in the recent past, and this is one that happened like 2 days earlier, just sort of random. I was reminded of the time I was at the gym, and a personal trainer asked me what my goals were as far as getting in shape. And the first thing that came to my mind was, I want to bench press my IQ. Okay. He looked at me like, and I said, and let me add this, 65 pounds is harder than it looks. So with each step, with that error message, with that thought, I can feel with each step my IQ getting lower and lower and lower as my rage got higher and higher and higher. By the time I rounded the corner back to my home, I knew that this relaxing walk was like trying to put out a campfire with a bucket of jet fuel. It did not work. A normal person would have gone out back. I had a backyard, nice flowers, cinder block wall, and a hammock, and hopped in the hammock and just chilled until Ron called back. Newsflash, I am not a normal person. I made a beeline to my laptop and hit print. I got the same error message. I hit print again. I got the same error message. Now at this stage, I kind of dissociated. This sounds kind of wacko, but I left my experience and I found myself standing in the corner of my bedroom / home office / kitchen / whatever, in the corner of the room, observing myself. And I said, that tall, then dark-haired person looks kind of pissed off. I'm noticing his clenching and unclenching fists and his clenching and unclenching jaw and his red face and the sweat. And it was with some detached curiosity that I said, it's interesting how this tall, dark-haired person is standing up and unplugging his printer. And I wonder why he's picking up the printer and holding it like a wounded puppy. And then I followed this whack job outside as he took the printer out toward the back patio and stopped. And I from my point of view, outside of myself, it was with some detached amusement, I said, why is he raising that printer over his head? Why is he bringing it down like a lumberjack smashing wood? What's going on? Okay. The printer exploded in shattered plastic. There was a small mushroom cloud of toner that went up because apparently the toner thing had cracked too. And it dawned on me as I was bringing it down, maybe I'm just out of paper, right? But I wasn't. It wasn't that. It was something I couldn't figure out. It would have been funny if I were just out of paper, whatever. I noticed that there were a couple splotches of that toner on my hand, and I said, well, all right, you just acted like a loon ball. You just destroyed your own printer. Wash this thing off and go relax and wait for Ron. You can tell him you destroyed your printer, whatever. I went into the bathroom, and when I looked in the mirror, staring it back at me was an Appalachian coal miner coming off his shift. Okay, everything but the lunch pail and the headlamp. My entire face was coated in black toner. And I went, that's pretty funny. You did a good one. Smooth move, X-Lax, okay? I thought, I was gonna go grab a beer, grab a book, go out to the hammock. Anyway, I thought, what the hell? Still covered in toner face, I stepped over the shattered printer, went out, said, this is a beautiful day, what a great day, got in the hammock, opened the book, took a sip of my Heineken, and the next thing I knew, which was about an hour later, I hear this voice calling from over the back of the cinder block fence, Mr. Bimbaum, very nosy individual. A rare moment I saw him without binoculars, and the voice that woke me up was, you okay? I woke up and said, I'm good, still toner-faced, toner coming down under the hammock. I got the book with toner on it. My beer has toner. You need anything? Like, I don't know, soap and a wash rag? And picture me, I'm this individual, this Appalachian coal miner with a book and a beer, raising his thumb saying, Mr. Bimbaum, I'm as happy as a clam at high tide. I'm good, have a nice day. By then I was awake. I got up, went to the back to wash off, get undressed, take a shower, wash all of it off, and then I noticed I'm drawing a blank here, sorry. My friend's printer was still there, Ron's printer. He left his printer. Mine was out in the patio destroyed. And I looked down and I had to shake my head because I was kind of baffled. I said, first a backstory. Ron was and still is a great participant in terms of sports. Runner, biker, swimmer, triathlete, etc. He hates spectator sports. He says, he used to chide me whenever I watched the Los Angeles Lakers on TV. He said I was wasting my time ogling multimillionaire pituitary cases running around in their shorts, which is true. So it was with some befuddlement that I said, looking down at his printer, what are the odds that his printer would have my LA Lakers logo on the printer? I had just destroyed his printer. Okay, he came back about 2 hours later, told him what happened. He didn't punch me out or anything, he should have. He said, listen, I'm gonna go buy 2 printers. I need one, obviously. You need one. Save the receipt, pay me back, etc. I said, that's fine, no problem. He said, one other thing, just be grateful. And I said, you know, I just went ballistic. I just destroyed your printer. I just spent an hour in blackface toner in a hammock. What am I grateful for? He said, just be grateful we don't drive the same car. Thanks for coming out. See you next time.
Yeah, I think with the exception of actually smashing the printer, I think probably most of us have been near there somehow or another, close to there. Larry is a freelance writer and known for penning the world's shortest obituary. The man who invented autocorrect has died. May he restaurant in peace. Larry frequents our sister group, Open Mic, our Easy Wordsmith Open Mic, and he is a wonderful story writer and storyteller. And some of his humor is, as you can probably guess, is very, very crisp. So if you haven't come to our open mic night, which is the second Wednesday of every night over in no, it's here now. We have it in this room because we've grown up. You know, certainly you're welcome to check it out. It's a lot of fun. Okay, thank you, Larry. Thank you all for coming.